Alright, welcome back to part 2 of this video where we talk about CRUD operators. Now we are going to look at how we can add users to this our database. First, very quickly, let's go to our PHP myadmin. We have created a database here called my_pdo_db. Inside this database we have a table called student, okay, as our table name. So in this table name we have an ID, we have full name, we have email, we have phone number, we have course of study, and we as well have created date, the date in which this user is being added or were added or whatsoever. So we are going to use all these table column and insert data into these columns that we are created successfully here. So if you don't know how to create table on PHP myadmin, please watch my previous video and also comment on the comment section so that we can look at it together. Now let's go straight to the point on what we're going to do. Now remember we stopped here in our previous video, which is the part 1. If I come here and click on add user, you see on the URL here is capturing a file called adduser.php. So we are going to I've created a file called adduser_php. Here we have created a file. Remember, on this file we created a div. Inside this div we call it a container. It has a row, and here we have insert data into the database or DB using PDO. So we are going to use PDO for our data today. So here we have full name, we have an email, we have phone number, we have course of study, we also have save as student, which is the button. So with this button now we are going to use it to insert our data into the database. Remember we are using Bootstrap and also jQuery library. We have also actually inserted all this link or imported all this link into our file. So I'm going back to where we have this file created in our index. Remove this hashtag. So come here now. I'm going to refresh this page. When I refresh this page, if I click add users, okay, if it's still showing me that, let's look at what's happening. Okay, remember this way I'm supposed to remove it. Sorry. Okay, I'm coming to come here now, refresh. If we refresh this page, all right, I'm going to come here, Control R, now click add users. Fine, it's showing us a page here. Good. This is what we're going to see in this our page. Now that we have seen this, what I want us to do here is this. So I'm going to come back here, come to our page. We're having a file here. Sorry, we're having something. I see this error. I don't know what is causing. Okay, I've seen it. Please, sorry about that. Now we're going to come here, remove this start. Now refresh the page. This is how it's going to look like. Insert data into the database using a PDO. Now we can as well come back, click here. It will take us to back page. You see, can come and click here. It will take us back here. So we have created this form. Please, I will urge you to take time to look at this form. Look at how we created it. This is how we created it. We have our email, we have our full name, we have our phone number, we have our course, and we have our button called save users. I'm going to call it a save users. All right, this is our button. It's called save users. Save user. All right. Now save users. That's our save user. That's our button name. Look at it here. Good. Now we're going to create and connect our database to this file so that we can be able to use this database that we have created initially. To do that, here we have a form, and on this form we have an action which is called which I call code.php. Okay, if you check our file library here, what we have here now is insert.php. I'm going to change it to insert.php because that is what I created. So I'm going to change this one to insert.php in our form. Insert. Okay, insert.php. all right, now that we have something as such, so insert user, that is what we call it, insert user.php. I'm going to come here, insert user.php, so that by the time we click here, it will interact with insert user.php. So I'm going to open this file that we have created, insert user.php. Now here we have created some files here. Look at the files here. We create a section, we include our database, and I say if it's set save, which is our button name. If you come back here, remember, if you check our button name here, we have what they call save_student. All right, so we are now saying that save_student, full name, we'll call it the way it appears. We have our email here, we have our phone, we have our course. All right, So we have what? Insert. All these ones we have created. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete all these ones so that we're going to do it together. All right. Now what we're going to do now, let's move straight to that point and see how we can get it done step by step. All right. So go straight to that. Now we'll come back to the code now. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create our database. Go back to our database, create a new file. On this file, which we'll call let's give it a name. We'll call it a db.con. all right, save it here. We are going to save it as a db, okay, dbcon.php. all right, this is our file. So I'm going to come here. That's okay. On this dbcon.php, since we are using PDO, I'm going to come here and say PHP. Come here, close this code. I'm going to come and say $server equals to localhost. All right. Then I have here $username is equals to root. All right. Sorry. Then we'll have a $password. I'll call it p-word. We'll call it empty, no password. Then we're going to come here and say $database. This database is going to be the name of our database, which is called my_PDO_DB. all right, now we have this. I'm going to come here and say let's use a try and catch the error if there's any. Try, and also what, catch it here if there's any. Okay, then we'll close it here. Now we should try what we are trying now. Say $con, all right, is equals to new PDO. It's going to take attribute of this, and I'll call it MySQL, which is taking a host, our host, which is equals to what? Server. All right, which is this $server here. We're going to put our host here, now comma. Then I say DB name. Our DB name is going to be what? Database name. You have it here. Don't forget. All right. This is the database name. Then next we have what? Our what is called username, which is our root. All right. Have username here. And next we have what? Remember, we're going to close it here. Then we have username here. Next we have what? Our password here. All right. So we're going to come here, put password here. All right. Now we have done this. We are going to say, okay, this $con, all right, use this. So let us set attribute. Set attribute attribute attrbut. Okay, set attribute to what? PDO, and this PDO is going to take two of these attr attributes. All right, and this is going to give us underscore error to check the error. If there's error, check the error mode. Now we're going to say, okay, get the PDO, then get another parameter, which is the error mode. Now with this, now we're going to say dot what? Exception. All right, exception. Oh god, this is good. Now we got this. What we're going to do next, we're going to come here and say echo what? Connection successful. Connection successful if it is okay. Echo connection successful, connected successfully. All right, X, it should tell us something. Echo something like we're going to come and say connection failed, and it should trigger it by what? We're going to concatenate with what? $e, which is error. This error should get what? Get the message. All right, put a message function. Okay, now with this we are good to go. Remember, if we are doing that, if we say catch, if we are catching it, we are going to catch it based on this attribute, catch it in this format, so that we'll get the PDO error. PDO what? Exception. All right, PDO exception. All right, now with this we'll now say $e, which is the error that we're going to get from the error message if there's any. All right, this E should be a capital letter, sorry. All right, this is how it's going to look like, video exception. So we're going to save this. All right, I'm going to come back here to where we are going to add data. All right, so we can what come here and ask, okay, let's include it into what, our database. All right, so with this now we are good to go. So what we're going to do next now is to move straight to the point whereby we'll now come as, okay, from our code we are going to come here, save this file, we have saved it, come to insert users which we have created. All right, yes, this is our form, this is our insert user. So we're going to come here and ask, okay, PHP, close this code, that's it, PHP, oh, we're going to close it here, let's see, let's go PHP, let's go PHP, sorry, oh my god, good, this is how we want it. So we're going to close in this format. So we're going to work with this in this way. So what we're going to do now, as you are seeing this part here, is fine and okay. So we're going to come here as a $section. Okay, to do that, why don't we come here as a start a section? Let's set a section underscore start. We'll start a section here so that we can as well come here and say include our DB, which is called dbcon dot php. All right, put it in a quotation mark so that it will be here, form of string here. All right, so when I come here now, if we come back to our file, I'll go back. All right, if I refresh this page, if I click add users, okay, good, fine, there's no error. If there's any error, we would have got it here. So at the point of this insert user, all right, so if I take this whole file and put it inside this page, let's see if we have that error connection message. If there is any connection message, we will know. Good, it's a syntax error, password in line 12. Good, it therefore means that our connection is not working well. Password in line 12, password in line 12. Okay, it says unexpected comma. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, yeah, we are supposed to put comma here. All right, so if I refresh it here, it says undefined password in line 12. All right, because the name we call it here is password, another name should be the same thing. So when we refresh the page, okay, on count error, undefined class, constant error mode. Okay, in line 13 we have that error mode in line 13 here. Look at it here, error mode. This is what we are supposed to call it. We are saying it in that way. So this is the correct name. Say MySQLi in line 13 here, set attribute. All right, attri attribute, open bracket PDO, attr underscore error, error mode, comma PDO, comma error mode. Okay, this error is, this O is not supposed to be here. This is how it's supposed to be, error mode. All right, so when we correct that and refresh, good, you say connection works successfully. So we are good to go. Our connection is okay now. So now that we have connection is okay, I'm going to come here and comment this so we can now refresh. That has left there. Now we'll go back here. We're also okay, add users. At this point of add user, any action that will enter here, any data will enter here, will certainly what, interact with what, the form. I'm going to close this, will certainly interact with this insertion page, because here at the add users page, we say from the form, let form take interaction or interact with a file called what, insert underscore user.php, which is happening here. So here now we are going to start our code here. Yeah, what we're going to do now, I'm going to say, okay, if is set, okay, $_post, all right, So here we're going to call it a save underscore student. That is the name we'll call it. Remember, here I'm going to open a double curly bracket. We are going to put some argument here. First, we have a dollar full name is equals to dollar underscore post. It's not posty, it's post underscore dollar underscore post. Okay, we'll have something like this. Then we have a dollar email is equals to dollar underscore post. Okay, dollar phone, okay, is equals to dollar underscore post. All right, then we also have another one, dollar cost of study is equals to dollar underscore post. So these are the argument we are going to take from users, or inputs we are going to take from users. So this is how it's going to look like. All right, now first, the name we'll give it here is what? For full name is called what? Full name. I'm going to copy it and put it here. For you add user, we call it email, we call it email. Also for phone, we call it a phone. So you already see it. And don't forget that of a course, we also what? Call it a course. So now that we have passed all these inputs, now what we're going to do here now, I'm going to define a new variable, call it a date, because we are not using date current timestamp as our date. I'm going to say date. This date is going to take in this format. Let it take a day, okay, dash small d, which is the day, pass it to capital M with y, capital Y. All right, then we'll have h, which is time, I, seconds, minutes, sorry, then seconds. We take an attribute of what? A. This is how we're going to want our date to look like. Now with this, I'm going to define a new variable, call it $query, which is going to insert into the database in this format. Remember, we have created a table called what? Student. When that's okay, this is going to say insert into our student, okay, table student, and it's going to take inputs in this format. We have full name, okay, we have email, we have a phone, okay, we have course, okay, we have a created at. All right, these are the arguments. Now after which we now come and say value, take values from them, and the value is going to take first is what? We have a full name, all right, comma, we have another one called email, comma, we have another one called phone. We are using a binding techniques. Another one called course, okay, then we'll have another one called what? Created that. So since we are binding it in this format, I'm going to come here, close it here. So next, I'm not going to say okay, dollar run query equals to dollar $con, which is our connecting string name. And also use a prepared statement. Prepared, we'll pass it to what? Our dollar query. Remember, which is our dollar query here. We have prepared our statement here. Now that we have prepared our statement, we are good to what? Insert our data. To do that, we are going to come here and define a new variable, we'll call it data, and this data is going to take a list, or in PHP, in Python we'll call it list, but in PHP it's going to take an array, okay, array of data in this format. All right, we are going to use a square bracket. Now the first one we are going to take here is going to be what? That of what? Full name. Okay, this full name is going to pass it to what? Our dollar what? Full name, which is this. Remember, we have something as such. Yeah, right. After which put comma, we have another one here, dollar email, and also it's going to take an argument in this format. All right. So after that, we'll pass it to this one, put comma. Next, we're going to come here and put another one, and this one is going to be phone, phone. So it's going to take another what? We'll pass it to what? Phone, which we have here. Okay, then remember the last one we have there is the second to the last is what? Course. Okay, put in double or single quotation, whatever way you choose. Then we also, okay, let this one be equals to, we have what? Which is called course. Now after which we have this one. Last is that of a created date, and I can say created at. This created at is going to also take input at what this particular what called what date, which we have here. Now that we have set up this whole data in this format, we are good to go. Next, we are going to come here now and come here and put semicolon. Now that's okay. Query it. That's a dollar query ESC, which is execution. You can call it any name of your choice. We now pass it to what $run query, which we have here. Remember, this $run query, we are passing it to this argument. And that's okay. Run this query by executing it. Okay, use execute method. We now pass it to what $data. You should what execute this data variables or arrays that we have what passed to this argument. Now if we run this code at this point, it will work perfectly and okay, but we need to have an error message if our data is inserted successfully or not. To make it happen, what we are going to do here is to come and say if dollar execute query, this query we are saying here, if this dollar execute query run where or run successfully, if it runs successfully, it should be able to tell us message, X. It should also tell us another message. Now if it runs successfully, let's come and say, we are going to come here and say echo, let's say echo insert success fully. All right, in this manner, if it inserts successfully, s echo, you should echo something like insertion fade. All right, insert fade, whatever way you choose to call it. Now we have done that. I'm going to come here and refresh here. I'm going to come and say put a new name here, put another email, put a phone number, put a course of study, add user, insert successfully. Good. Let's check our database, refresh it here. Good, it's added what successfully. Friday 20th October, this, and the time is what capture. Good, our data is what working perfectly. Now that we have something like this, we want it in such a way that each time inserted, let it be showing us what we got here. It should take us back to where we have something like this. So far so good. We have been able to create how we can insert data into our database. This is our first example on how we can insert data into the database. In our subsequent and in our part 3 of this video, we're going to talk about more on insertion and how we can style our alert message and how we can make it look more interactive and beautify it so that it will be so user interface friendly, so that it will be well presented. Thank you for your time. I remain your friend Joshua. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to comment on the comment section. Next video we'll be talking more on this how we can update by editing user detail, and also talk about how we can delete. First, part 1 we talk about the interface. We have successfully created the database. Now we have also inserted data in our database. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Remain blessed. Goodbye.